Good evening, everyone. Please be seated. Welcome to the Edison class of 2021. What a perfect day for a perfect group of 24 seniors. Thank you to you, your families, and your friends, along with the Edison faculty and staff and members of the Edison board for joining us today. Before we continue the ceremony, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to Rachel Hansen for her incredible guidance, calmness, dedication, creativity, leading graduation planning, along with the many others who lent a helpful hand. Also, a huge shout out to Jesuit High School for their generosity and partnership. The opportunity to be here on this stage at Cronin Field is much appreciated. We couldn't do this without you. The wind almost took those notes away. Thank you as well to all of our senior families. You have been supporting our students every step of the way, and certainly throughout the pandemic. Your commitment to your students' education is remarkable. Last year was my first graduation as Edison's president, and delivering my inaugural commencement welcome from the parking lot was not quite how I envisioned things when I started in my new role. At the same time, I also didn't picture welcoming all of you here a year later on the 50-yard line. But doing things differently is at the heart of an Edison education. We adapt, we change, and we find what works. Members of this senior class are truly a special group. After a year of adjusting to remote learning in Zoom classrooms, hybrid learning and CAP scans, there is no doubt they will be able to handle any curveball life throws their way. This adaptability will serve them well throughout their lives. I truly believe a big reason for their success is the connection they have with one another and their ability to find joy in time spent together. It all became clear to me during Big Group on May 27th when Wiley Howe delivered the word of the week, and the word was camaraderie. And he defined the word, a noun referring to an unbreakable bond shared among a group of people. I thought this word was just perfect. And it was great foresight as he used it in an example. He said the seniors had more camaraderie than ever at graduation. So true, especially this year after coming back together in February and bonding these last 3+ months of the school year in ways no other senior class has experienced. Every Thursday this spring, I had the opportunity to help supervise lunch on the baseball field. And as I joined the students, the seniors always welcomed me. They would drop what they were doing and share stories about future plans, upcoming tests, favorite foods, family, and much more. It was impossible to miss the tight bond they shared. There was respect, trust, friendship, and compassion among them all. They were also inclusive of other Edison students, and I constantly witnessed our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors looking up to them. The seniors had their last big group yesterday. What was so special was that not only was it their last big group, but it was also the first in-person big group for the seniors this year. And the culminating point in the program included a handful of our seniors offering their words of advice to all their classmates. I'd like to share a few of their pearls of wisdom. Be nice to everyone. Enjoy the tiny perfect moments in life. You never know what someone is going through, so make sure to always be kind. If you do something weird on a date, and if your date still likes you, you're meant to be together. And don't overstress about deadlines. Save time for fun. And at the same time, don't procrastinate. You can strive to do well academically, but being kind is your legacy. Face the world strong. Show compassion for everyone. I know the class of 2021 will go into the world and put this advice to good use. Even though I only had the opportunity to be around all of you in person for a few short months during these last 2 school years, I feel truly fortunate to have had the chance to meet and to get to know all of you. You have a way of brightening my day each time I see you. Know that you always make our entire faculty and staff smile each time they see you as well. You may not have realized it as much this past year, but they were definitely smiling underneath their masks every day. The class of 2021 has shared their incredible advice with us, and if I have any advice for them, it is to set your sights high. You're an extremely hardworking and talented group, and I know you will accomplish many great things. And while doing this, remain close to your family and friends who are all here with you today. And don't be a stranger here on campus as an Edison alum. Congratulations to the class of 2021. It is well deserved. Always know you have had a lasting impact on all of us here at Edison, and I have no doubt you will continue to positively influence others throughout your journey of life. Thank you, class of 2021. For the next portion of our program, our first 10 students will receive a few special words of affirmation from a faculty member and have selected not to give a speech today. Following the affirmations, we have 13 seniors who will speak to their own growth and experiences at Edison. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Hansen.
Good evening. Over the last 4 years, I have had the opportunity to watch Sequoia overcome challenges and obstacles most teenagers couldn't even fathom. Through all of the hills and valleys, Sequoia has remained resilient, and while also offering creativity and insight all along the way. Sequoia has an incredibly creative mind, which recently has been most evident when sharing with me her latest Skyrim mods. In biology, Sequoia demonstrated understanding and curiosity, which are both essential for the pursuit of science. I hear you might be interested in being a biology teacher someday. Sequoia plans to work and pursue some classes, probably at PCC, before moving on to work towards eventually becoming a science teacher. Sequoia, we have been fortunate to have you at Edison for the last 4 years, and we are sure to miss you. Congratulations, you made it to graduation.
Hello, everybody. This is Drake Bowman. Drake Bowman is astute, reflective, engaged, and sincere. He has applied his intellectual curiosity and thoughtfulness in each corner of his academic journey, and it's been a true joy to see his growth over the past 4 years. Thank you, Drake, for modeling determination, for seeking out new challenges, and for your love for learning. Plus, he's just a great person to be around. I've always proudly anticipated your kind greetings, warm sense of humor, and seeing your strong character in action. I should note, however, that I'm still recovering from seeing Drake's shoes untied freshman year every single day. Despite my exhaustive protestations, but he's come a long way indeed. In the fall, Drake will attend Oregon State University in the Multiple Engineering Cooperative Program. Freshman courses include, among others, differential and integral calculus and physics, and thankfully he'll be getting the easy classes out of the way first. Congratulations, Drake Bowman.
I'm going to quote you, I think quoting me. It was all because the girls' cabin had the meat pizza. That is definitely how it all started, isn't it? Most of you won't understand that, but it's all good. Personally, my first memory of Nick was him coming into my room on the first day of his freshman year and sitting in a seat to my right, and he was smiling, which I thought was curious because normal freshmen don't smile on their first day of high school, so naturally I was suspicious. What we at Edison were subjected to instead was a positive and spirited young man who takes his academics seriously, is an enthusiastic athlete, an adventurous world traveler, and a friend to anyone. But also, when faced with adversity, would seek advice and thoughts when it was crucial to do so. In many ways, he steers his own ship. But in other ways, he is the captain taking others for a fun ride. Oh, and, something about Chicago Cubs or, something. Next year, he's off to the College of Idaho to study the science of how paper airplanes get stuck in horizontal blinds, as well as design the perfect ball of foil that won't mark up newly painted walls. Oh, and baseball, go Cubs. Congratulations, Nick Burkett.
Hello again. I have had the honor of being Olivia's advisor for 4 years, and I have taught her as she was a sophomore and senior. And what has always impressed me about Olivia is her honesty. She opens up about her challenges, hopes, and appreciation for friends, family, and teachers. Olivia thoughtfully reflects on what she needs to do, however difficult the situation may be, or if it's an unappealing situation in the case of yet another literary analysis assignment. And she does it all with grace, maturity, and kindness. And I'm grateful for what she's taught me about being resilient, just being a good human being, and I've no doubt this sentiment is shared by many. I'm so excited for Olivia's plans to enroll at Santa Barbara Community College. And while Santa Barbara is one of the most idyllic spots on the West Coast, hopefully she'll make it back to Oregon someday and share about her journey and how she continues to spread her authenticity, resolve, and compassionate heart to each and every endeavor and person she meets. Congratulations, Olivia Casey. Yeah.
I am thrilled, and I'm not going to get distracted by the echo, but I am thrilled to introduce Jimmy at his graduation. One of my favorite moments with Jimmy was last year in English when a student complained of a coyote on his farm, and Jimmy immediately sprung into action. He brought in a hunting tool that could mimic the sounds of huntable woodland creatures. It was not our most productive day of English, but what I really saw was Jimmy helping someone with a problem that only Jimmy could solve. Jimmy is a family man who speaks often of his little sister, his brothers, his parents, his grandparents, in ways that we hope our families speak of us, mostly with love, a little exasperation. Jimmy would like to thank his Edison teachers. He told me that before Edison, and he said I could quote him, "School bad, Edison good." Jimmy said that many of his former teachers didn't think he was capable of doing hard things. They were clearly wrong. Jimmy would like to thank his parents for finding Edison and supporting him. He would like to thank his grandparents for helping him study and giving him an escape into the woods. Jimmy appreciates his friends, their grand adventures, and adventures yet to come. Jimmy starts at Eastern Oregon in the fall, isn't sure about a major, but sure he wants to work outside and helping people, which feels like a perfect fit. Congratulations, Jimmy.
Thomas DeMitt. Thomas joined us for his junior year, which is a challenging time to transition to high school or to a new school. We were an advisory together, and it is fair to say that Thomas was at best reserved and at worst reluctant. As he opened up, though, I learned these things. Thomas is a lover of cars. He is a seller of hot dogs. He is polite and kind to others. He is quiet, but willing to stand up for his beliefs. He is willing to work hard to achieve his goals. This last statement is beautifully illustrated by his recent success on the ASVAB, which is the Armed Services Aptitude Test. A year and a half ago, Thomas's reading levels would have prevented him from passing. Through his diligence in his Orton Gillingham tutoring, Thomas ended up by passing the test with flying colors, making it possible for him to take on the career that he wants in the armed services. Thomas plans to join the Marines in the fall. I wish we had 2 more years with you, Thomas, but I'm pleased that you'll be diving into a career that excites you. We wish you the very best of luck.
It is an absolute honor to be introducing a student who is so easygoing while remaining extremely kind, creative, generous, and honest. I had the pleasure of teaching Nolan sign language his junior year, so last year. I will never forget our conversations, our many conversations about his love for cars. His Subaru or my 1990 Volvo I had at the time. It is such a privilege to see you, Nolan, grow and mature into a wonderful, confident, respectful young man that we all see here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce Mr. Nolan Gustafson McLeod.
Good evening. The gentleman standing up next to me is someone that I am so incredibly proud of and someone who will always hold a special place in my heart. Ezra and I got to know each other 2 years ago when I was just a student teacher. And Ezra took a chance on a new teacher and taught me so many things about how to be a good teacher, but also about cars. We have worked together over the past 2 years, capitalizing on Ezra's interests in cars, his strengths, and applying his knowledge when the content interests him. And it reminds me of a quote that I think applies to Ezra deeply, which is, "Learning and purpose for learning go hand in hand." And Ezra is a great example of this. He is also an impressive young man in the way that he has applied the skills that he's learned in school and through his life into becoming an independent man and seeking employment all on his own, and has even this week, I think, had to juggle work schedule and school schedule. So I am so impressed and proud of him, and I'm so glad to get to see him thrive, and as he gets older, to see where he goes. So ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Ezra.
Pavlos came to Edison a little later than his peers, and when he arrived, you actually didn't know he was there. He was quiet and checking it all out, as most students who come a little bit later do. It made it a little more challenging getting to know him and what he was about, and not something too uncommon, but the thing was, he wasn't plugged in all the way and he was operating on reserve power. Once the full power was restored, you couldn't shut him off. And the light became brighter, giving us clearer insight into those finer details. He is an integral part of an active and connected family. He joined the likes of Neil Armstrong, President Gerald Ford, and Steven Spielberg by earning the rank of Eagle Scout in January 2020, a ceremony It was a ceremony to which I was invited, and once I arrived, he asked, "Mr. Busick, what are you doing here?" Aren't you going to ask me what I'm doing here right now?
What are you doing here?
Yeah. He's positive, enthusiastic, confident, and an all-around good friend. It has been an absolute honor and joy having Pavlos as part of the Edison community. Congratulations, Pavlos. Everybody, Pavlos Blankenstein.
Thanks, Mr. Busick. Next page. Can I move this? Right. Oh, there's an echo. Jeez. Okay, I'll have to get used to this. All right. Let me move this. All right. Get this out of my mouth. Greetings and salutations, everyone. God, I have to get used to this. It has been an interesting 2.5 years here at Edison. Before Edison, school was very difficult for me. I would barely get by with B's and C's. Throughout the year, it seemed to get more and more impossible to do anything in terms of schoolwork. At this point in my life, I also wasn't in the best mental state, because I really did want to do well in school, and I just felt like I couldn't keep up. Math was especially a struggle for me. By the time my first semester of sophomore year ended, at my last school, I couldn't even understand how I got by with C's, because I had struggled so much. During my sophomore year, my mom said, "Hey, Pavlos, I think we need to make a little change." She looked at Edison for me, but I didn't want to leave my old school because I felt like that would be giving up. I shadowed the school, and in my head I kept thinking that I would stay at my old school. However, I kept thinking, wow, this is a perfect fit for me. Part of the challenge was I didn't know many people who came here. I eventually realized that I did know 2 students, one of which being my longtime best friend, Stathi. He's right over there somewhere. Oh, he's over there? Oh, hi, Stathi. So I made the decision to come here. It ended up being the best decision of my education and my life. I remember the first day of my classes at Edison. I was confused and lost, and they told me that my first class was health with Mr. Busick. So I walked in the room, I sat down, Mr. Busick came up, handed me some papers, and he said to me, "Welcome, Edison, I will be your favorite teacher from now on." This is how my life at Edison started, and every day after that just got better and better. More broadly, Edison had given me the opportunity to have a fresh, new start. I was finally understanding classes like math. I don't know how he does it, but Mr. Livesey, he like shoves a USB into your brain and says, "Here's the Pythagorean theorem," and here, give me your phone right now. Thank you. Every year afterwards, my grades got better and better. I went from having straight C's at my old school to having straight A's now as a senior. I really love being with our senior group. While they may not know it, they all kind of helped me get out of a really tough mental spot, especially by the end of junior year. I went through a period of my life when I thought that no one wanted me around or wanted to hang out with me. Those thoughts have been haunting me through most of high school. It wasn't until I opened up to some of my fellow seniors about how I was feeling that I realized that people found me funny and enjoyed my sense of humor. One of my fellow seniors, my friend Nick, hi Nick, told me that he thought I had a really fun sense of humor, and that's when things really started to click for me. Ever since then, I've been unrelenting in sharing who I am. Mr. Busick told me that I went from being super quiet to being super loud and all talkative, which he said before. I just want to thank all the seniors for being there with me. We're like a big rock or a big metal band. Yeah. I love them, and they're all freaking awesome. Lastly, I just want to thank my parents for kind of shoving me into Edison. It was probably the best decision they made for me, because that's more or less what happened. I also want to thank all the teachers and staff who helped teach me and support me. You know who you are. I also want to thank all my friends in Edison and the entire senior group. I don't know what the future holds for me. Might become a teacher. I don't know. I'll do some comedy, maybe act. Who knows what I'll do? I have no idea. We'll find out soon enough, though. The main takeaway I have from my high school years is how you perceive what others think about you may not be the case. Be yourself, and you may realize how much they care. Thank you.
I had the privilege of getting to know Stothy when he joined our advisory his sophomore year, which was his first year at Edison. Stothy was immediately looked up to as a quiet leader in our community. Stothy is polite, respectful, and one of the hardest workers you will ever meet. He has worked hard at managing his time to include academics, athletics, and a social life. He has grown into a confident young man who will be attending Point Loma Nazarene University next year. I am so excited for his future, and I am proud to introduce to you Stothy Davis.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Stothy Davis, and I've been at Edison for the past 3 years. It is my honor to be standing before you today to offer a few words from my experience here at Edison. This school has helped me grow so much as a person and as a student. Edison has allowed me to access a running group that has truly helped me in my life. Throughout my years at Edison, I've learned an assortment of academic subjects, but there was one thing I learned that I wasn't expecting. I began to envision my own potential. I learned that I could do stuff that I thought I couldn't, as long as I got the right help here and there. I discovered that with a little bit of a helpful hand, school didn't have to be a constant grind for 7 hours. There were resources out there to make my learning run smoother. The biggest way this occurred was when I learned how my dyslexia and my ADHD really affected me. This allowed me to change my studying habits to be more time effective. That, combined with the accommodations to help aid my learning, boosted my confidence inside the classroom and made it more manageable for me to succeed. And the teachers, well, they were the ones that taught me how to use the apps and made it more accessible for me to get the accommodations. After going to a public school, finding out that teachers wanted to help was a shocker. It was amazing. I instantly felt supported. As I moved up in the grades, the teachers taught us how they taught and how we should interact with them. This was so beneficial for me to glimpse the other side of the classroom. This made asking for help easier for me. All of this put together helped me to start to enjoy an environment I'd grown up dreading. Now, school is great and all, and I was finally getting the help I desperately needed. But being ADHD, I had a lot of energy to burn before I could even think of sitting in a chair and doing any sort of homework at all. It wouldn't even be worth trying to do without a run. And so I ran every day, rain or shine, cross country and track. It was a great way to get my energy out, get my competitive juices flowing, and spend time with my friends. It was nice to have a group of guys to laugh with every day. Running became my de-stressor from school. Throughout this experience, I learned a lot about hard work, dedication through the ups and downs. Edison as a whole has offered a high school experience that is not matched by any other school in the country. It has provided me with an opportunity to see my own potential and to make strides to achieve it. Edison has made my learning easier and more enjoyable. It has allowed me to access a running team that has helped me throughout the ups and downs. If I had not have transferred to Edison after my first year in high school, I would not have been standing before you today, and I definitely wouldn't be giving this speech. So thank you, Edison.
Hello. So I know this might be a little bit awkward sharing right now, but Gabby, you've made my job a lot more difficult over the last few years. I mean, the reason I say that is, what is a teacher supposed to do with a student who's exemplary, one who is unfailingly engaged, insightful, and reflective, a young woman who seeks out feedback and readily applies it? Well, I've done my best and I've helped where I could, but Gabby has taken ownership of her learning since day one of her freshman year, and she's been a leader in the class in our community. Academics are important, yes, but this is superseded by Gabby's kind, gracious heart. Whether discussing a nuance of a novel in English class or giving a student council speech, she's a friend to all, and we are so very lucky to have had her at Edison. I'm pleased to announce that Gabby will be attending the University of Oregon next fall and plans to major in political science. She will no doubt carry her bright, joyful light with her everywhere and with everyone she meets. Congratulations, and introducing Gabby German. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I would like to talk about my general high school experience, my family, and being hard of hearing. These have all come with their own unique ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade any of these experiences for the world. While reflecting on the COVID era is something we would like to forget, we must keep these memories alive. My high school experience has been unique in several ways. I previously attended Ida B. Wells High School for 1 month before transferring to Edison. The people at Ida B. Wells were wonderful, but the 6 hours of homework I was doing each night was too much, so I applied to Edison and was accepted. I was and am so grateful to have been accepted, as the teachers finally had the time to work with me in difficult subjects, amongst other wonderful advantages of the school. The years of high school were fairly normal. Then it wasn't, beginning in the March of 2020. School was suddenly online, which was initially odd. Countless students despised this setup, but I, on the other hand, reveled in it. I know this situation hurt so many, but I am privileged enough to say that it helped me. My family is a special one. My parents were kind enough to contact this school when my old school wasn't cutting it. They've always supported and loved me. My mom has spent countless unpaid hours with me on my math homework. Not easy. My dad has always encouraged me to be strong. It is easy to talk with them about life and their thoughts and experiences. With so much more time on this earth than me, they have never shied from sharing how the world works. My sister has always been the best friend I could ever ask for. She has always truly listened. I can't forget my dog. Rocky has always been a healing presence when I am upset and warned away any potential intruders with his barking. All in all, my family has always laughed, joked, and gone on fun trips together. Best of all, they do their best to support my endeavors, even when they make no sense. I am hard of hearing. You can't tell just by looking at me, but I am deaf in my left ear. I was born with this due to unknown womb complications. This did not end up impacting me as much as it could have, but has still made my life harder than it otherwise would have been. As a little girl, I went through several hearing aids. As a kindergartner, I was frequently asked on the playground what that thing in my ear was. These were innocent questions, but back then it made me feel self-conscious. I felt alone, being the only one around with a hearing aid. I stopped wearing it early in elementary school. On the bright side, I can sleep through anything when I'm covering my right ear, laying on the side. Once I was told my lack of hearing must be embarrassing. Another time, a complete stranger called me the R slur for the same reason. Do I regret this part of me, even with the issues I face because of it? Absolutely not. This has shown me who my real friends are and pushed me to self-advocate. That is worth its weight in gold. The high school years are difficult in the best of times. However, the class of 2021 has made it through an entire year of online schooling and other obstacles. I've grown throughout this and other struggles. I know my classmates have as well. All in all, we are much better for it and will be kinder to others than we thought we could be. As they say, nothing worth doing is ever easy. Thank you all for listening.
Kyle has been a joy to know and teach, first as a freshman in art and most recently as a senior in biology. Kyle initially comes off as a quiet and polite student, but after spending more time with him, you will find his dry sense of humor, love of animals, especially his dog Cedar, creativity, and determination to succeed. Kyle shows his integrity in the classroom as a dependable, hardworking student who made a goal to complete all of his homework at school before going home. And also, he shows integrity outside of the classroom through positive interactions with fellow students. He is a quiet leader, simply leading with his actions and by example. It is certain Kyle will find success, and it is certain that Edison will greatly miss him. It is my honor to introduce you to class of 2021's valedictorian, Kyle Haslam.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kyle Haslam, and I am profoundly dyslexic and have ADHD. I have struggled with school my entire life, and there was even points when I never thought I'd be able to graduate high school, and it never crossed my mind that I'd be valedictorian. But yet, here I am standing in front of you all today. Over the last 4 years, I have made a lot of awesome memories and new lifelong friendships. One of my favorite memories is Ashland. I'll never forget essential oil hunting with Parker, and although we didn't find any good ones, I still have the smell of the spice shop stuck in my nose. I'll never forget going to a little bakery with Grace where the cookies were bigger than our heads. There are so many people who have helped me get here today. The saying that it takes a village couldn't be more true. First, I want to thank my parents. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. They were there for every hill, mountain, and valley I had to climb to get here, and trust me, there were a lot of them. Thank you for always being there for me and never giving up on me. I'd also like to thank all my other family and friends for their never-ending support, and all the awesome staff members and teachers at Edison who work so hard to help us succeed. Lastly, I would like to thank my old tutor, Kelly. Words cannot describe how grateful I am for her. She is the reason that I am standing up here today. She laid down the foundation and gave me the building blocks to continue my education, and I am forever grateful for that. She told my mom about Edison and told her that I needed to go here and that there weren't any other options, and I will forever be grateful for her. Thank you. Over the last 4 years, over the last 4 years, I have learned that I can not only succeed in an actual school, but thrive in one. I have learned what it feels like to come home from a day of school and be excited to share what I had learned. I learned what it felt like to come home and not feel like I was stupid and didn't hate myself for not understanding everything like everyone else did. I have realized and also accepted that school will always be something that is difficult for me and that I will have to work hard at to succeed. I'm excited to share that after high school, I'll be attending PCC and then applying to nursing school. I've wanted to be a nurse for as long as I can remember, and I'm ecstatic to finally be one step closer to achieving that dream. To my fellow peers, we did it. I'm still processing that we won't be coming back here next year. It's been a wild ride, and I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to go through it with. It's been fun, and I'm excited to see where life takes all of you. And once again, congratulations, we did it.
Wiley has an expansive vocabulary and regularly brought us the word of the week. The word of the moment is Wiley. W is for wild. He does things differently, and that is a breath of fresh air. I is for intelligent, not just book smarts, but really brilliant. Ask his teachers, family, and friends. He is wise beyond his years. L is for laughter. Wiley's wit is creative, hilarious, and occasionally wily. E is for energetic. Wiley has a unique and powerful energy that he adds to all of his endeavors. It can be subtle and flows on its own timeline, but there is great power in this young man. Y is for youthful. Although he is wise beyond his years, he is still playful and fun. Thank you, Wiley, for bringing us the word of the week. We appreciate you and look forward to seeing what your words and actions bring forth.
Greetings, teachers, students, and guests. Thank you all for coming. In 2005, Steve Jobs gave his graduation speech at Stanford University. As many of you know, he dropped out of Reed College in 1972. Despite dropping out, he still... Wait, talking about Steve Jobs too much. Oh, there was one thing in his speech that I found inspiring. He mentioned living every day like it was his last, and that got me thinking, how would I spend every day like it was my last? Well, I probably wouldn't spend in lunch detention. Maybe I'd go to a school dance like homecoming, or I'd go to Ashland. I think what made these experiences worthwhile was that they didn't go according to plan. Another thing in my high school experience that didn't go according to plan, as some of you know, is for the first half of my freshman year, I went to Lincoln. This did not work out for me. I didn't understand the materials. I didn't get to know anyone. Nothing made sense. So I decided to change. And when I went to Edison, it immediately clicked. I felt like I was one with the community. I did better in my classes. And the teachers offered me real help that I needed. They helped me with my IDs and LDs, and they genuinely understood me far better than Lincoln ever could. So if there's one lesson I'd like to end this with, it's to always find a community that thinks like you, to not immediately trust that where you are is where you're meant to be, and to think different. Thank you.
Kind of wobbly, so I'm just going to leave it there. To talk about Teddy James is to talk about kindness, sincerity, a sense of adventure, and a wicked sense of dry humor. I've had the great privilege of knowing Teddy since his freshman year, and seeing Teddy's confidence, coming up here, bud, too far. Seeing Teddy's confidence grow in that time has been a true joy as an educator. He is leaving Edison knowing that he is a very capable, talented, and highly appreciated young man who can do great things for himself and society. Whether he goes into engineering, medicine, or an entirely different field, I know that Teddy will bring his authentic self to bear on any challenges he takes on or relationships he embraces. Teddy's heart is enormous, as is his intellect, and I couldn't be more proud to have known him and taught him here at Edison. Teddy James, everyone.
Friends and family, I thank you for coming. 4 years ago, I started high school, and I thought to myself, who am I going to be? High school, it was different than I thought I was going to be like, because you always heard awful things, but none of those ever happened. I don't know whether to be thankful or to feel like I missed out. Some days, they were harder. Well, that's the natural law. But you always had someone to support you here. That's the beautiful thing about this place. A light in the darkness, some would say. And I believe it was. Mom, Dad, thank you for allowing me to come here. The growth I have experienced here in these last 4 years is even now difficult to describe, even with hundreds of languages, each one with tens of thousands of words spanning over the entirety of humanity's history. I believe I am different now than I was all those years ago. It's strange looking back on it all. It's so bittersweet. The memories feel like dreams almost. It was like looking into a mirror, but the person looking back was not you, but at the same time it was. And I believe that this change was from the care and compassion of everyone at Edison. I often try to return the favor as much as possible. I hope Edison continues to do what it does long after I leave here, because we could all use a light in the darkness. Edison has taught me so much and has finally answered my question. The very question I asked myself the day I walked into Edison, the question that I asked myself every day I woke up, the question I asked myself during the pandemic, the question the man in the mirror asked himself every time he looked at himself. I now know who I want to be. I want to be the man who faces the world. Thank you all so much for these amazing years of my life. Thank you.
Shalom. To put it in contemporary, or at least somewhat contemporary terms, Shalom Lev is definitely someone who keeps it real. Shalem would rather speak his truth than placate with a lie. Not to be antagonistic, but rather to be sincere and honest. Paired with that sincerity and honesty, though, is a tenderness and genuine commitment to being kind and caring. I feel like I've seen that side of Shalem even more this year, and that has been lovely. Shalem is someone who values relationships, personal growth, and working with his head, heart, and hands in concert to make the world a better place. I'm so excited to have known this young man, and I'm very proud to be introducing him here this evening. Shalom love, everyone.
Firstly, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone who made it out here today to celebrate our graduation. Thank you. Looking back on the past 4 years, it's crazy to me how fast it's all gone by. I'm grateful to have made the friends that I have and to have shared many memories with them. From good to bad, crazy and dumb, to meaningful and impactful. I remember going into middle school, being told that I graduate in 2021. I thought that was so far in the future. You know, we'd probably have time travel or something cool like that by then. Yeah, no, it turns out all we got is a pandemic. Yikes. My point is that time travel seems as if it was invented, because it feels like just a couple days ago I was a freshman. It really blows my mind that I'm about to graduate. I'm very grateful to everyone who has supported me and continues to support me and have my back. I'm excited for the next chapter of my life, and I'm very happy to enter it with such amazing people by my side. Thank you.
Brody McCarthy is thoughtful and thoughtful. They see things other students often miss. How this conversation relates to that idea, how the actions of political leaders could affect the long-term health of a country, that you might be having a bad day. Brody is insightful and thinks deeply. But all that internal cogitation takes time. It's kind of like that old Heinz ketchup commercial with Carly Simon singing Anticipation. That one. Yeah, whatever Brody is working on, you're gonna have to wait for it. But I promise you, it'll be worth the wait. Ladies and gentlemen, Brody McCarthy.
All right. Good evening, Edison students, staff, faculty, families, and other guests. I'm honored to be here today graduating from a fantastic high school known as Edison. I'm ecstatic that I've made it through high school by the skin of my teeth. I'm glad the cramming is finally over, and yet I'm sad to see it end so soon. From the time I arrived at Edison, I had been resentful of and burnt out from school due to my past academic experiences. I'm thankful for Mr. Beard, Ms. Longquist, for helping me to look beyond what the papers and assignments entailed and helping me enjoy the aspects of math, English, science that I had come to loathe in middle school. Through their sheer amount of enthusiasm, I myself began to enjoy these subjects once more. However, they were not acting alone. Miss Manning, through her flair for the dramatics, helped encourage me to find the importance of English in my writing skills. I have also to thank Miss Hanson for encouraging my interest in the arts. Mr. Weaver, Miss Connolly, and Miss FR helped spark an interest in what has now become one of my favorite subjects, history. I really wish I could go on, but Mr. Keller told me I should stop due to time constraints. Though I have to thank the most for making my high school experience as great as it has been is the support of my friends and family. They have been helped me through many sleepless nights to complete assignments and to provide wisdom in order to help ease my worries of what the future and what it holds. Without their support, I might have not made it through high school. Their support has been instrumental in keeping me engaged throughout my high school career, and in all honesty, I've never encountered such a welcoming environment as Edison. And as I move forward with my life, I'm deeply saddened by the fact that it couldn't have been a larger part of my life. As I have yet to make definite plans for my future, I am drawn to the saying, life is about the journey, not the destination. Using that quote as inspiration for my future, I plan to pursue a career in the winery industry, as it will provide me with many intriguing future opportunities for other careers. I sincerely thank everyone for attending, and a hearty congratulations to my peers for finally graduating high school.
I have had the pleasure of teaching Nora sign language for the past 2 years. A highlight of having her in my classroom has been her genuine curiosity of the well-being for everyone around her. In addition to that, her work ethic and eagerness to learn ASL was remarkable to witness. It is an honor for me to introduce a student who is extremely kind, generous, and who has worked exceptionally hard through her 4 years here, growing into a leader and a shining example of how you should treat others. I welcome Ms. Nora Meyer to share her time here at Edison.
Good evening. My name is Nora Meyer, and I'm very fortunate to be graduating. My years at Edison High School have been amazing. I've met some really wonderful friends over the years. School was very challenging for me my freshman year. I did not want to study, do the schoolwork, or have the best relationships. My teachers really pushed me to succeed my freshman year. My relationship with my friends was not the best. I didn't know if I was going to graduate. Over the 3 years from my freshman year, I have grown so much. I have learned how to advocate for myself. I have learned how to ask for help. I have learned how to go above academic performance. I have worked so hard to have good grades, and how about the Edison community? The amount of time the teachers put into each and every one of us students blows my mind. I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for my mom, my persistence in learning and succeeding, and having the best teachers push me. I wanted to say a huge thank you to my mom and dad for putting me into a school that has completely changed my life. I remember when I was first entering Edison, I was not too sure about going. It was a challenging decision for me my freshman year, but I'm so happy that I made the decision to stay and work toward my goals. For the past 4 years being at Edison, I can say a huge thank you to my parents for helping me realize Edison was the right place for me. They have changed my life in many ways, have helped me succeed, have encouraged me to do better each day, and I do not know what I would do without them. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. You are truly outstanding parents. One of the biggest reminders I had was to always do my best, to strive to the highest potential, to never give up, and continue working hard at challenging things. It took me a while to understand how to advocate and learn to succeed on my own, but I am so fortunate that I put my mind to succeeding and not falling behind where I thought my brain would be. I have learned how to be a better person, or more responsible person, a person who helps with the community. And what matters to me is you can always achieve your goals when you put your mind to it. Striving to achieve your highest potential and working hard is what matters to me. Lastly, I always want to have a good spirit around others, and how about the community? I want to end this speech with a train of thought. It doesn't matter who you are, where your learning differences are, how you are made. I believe you will always be able to achieve your goals and become the person you want to become. You just have to take the step to achieve that. No one else can do it but you. For me, Edison has changed my life because I made that first step towards independence here. I couldn't have asked for a better school. I am sad that I am leaving, but I hope my spirit will fill the school when I am gone for as many years as I can. This school is not like any kind of school. It is something to take advantage of. The amount of time the teachers put into the students and the community is incredible. I would never have been able to do it without Edison High School and staff. Thank you so much for everything you have done to help me learn and succeed. And look, I am here graduating, going to Western Oregon University. I've accomplished all my high school goals. 2021 has been a hectic, amazing, crazy year, but I'm so thankful for all my teachers, friends, and mom and dad, and everyone who has helped me. Thank you, Edison. Congrats, 2021. We did it.
Hey, hey. The person of the moment is Melina. Melina and her family have some connections to a distant land called Sverige, or is it Svaria? If you don't know, that is my rough attempt at pronouncing Sweden in Swedish. Okay. Melina has been on a grand educational journey over the years, sometimes passing through rough waters. I want to highlight her excellence in navigating those challenging waters. She has been consistently wonderful at Edison. Her academic work is outstanding. She's taken several classes at Jesuit, been involved in a variety of art projects, participated in the swim team, supported our community on student council, and been an all-around great student and friend. She has been a dependable anchor for many involved in the challenging waters of high school. This is Melina. Hey, Doa.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Melina Olander, and high school was not remotely close to how I expected it to be. As an incoming freshman, I was both curious and overwhelmed at how I was going to get to the finish line. Having straight A's seemed like a joke, and I had no interest in college. Fast forward 4 very, very exhausting, emotional, stressful, but beautiful years, and I'm right where I worked so hard to be. Both have become a reality, and I can proudly say that I have been accepted to the University of Portland with a $90,000 scholarship. My favorite discovery that I made about myself is that I don't feel like I'm supposed to be anybody else. I checked each year off as an ongoing chore and complained regularly about the lack of speed to graduation. As I stop to think, I feel the opposite. I've grown immensely, and it's all thanks to Edison, Jesuit, friends, and family. Before I was allowed any victories, I had to perish in middle school and hit as close to rock bottom as a kid with an LD can get. I lived those 3 years feeling unteachable and dumb. I'd sit with teachers for long periods of time and get frustrated. Learning felt impossible. Unfortunately, I had no idea what an LD was until 8th grade. The other 5+ years, I was running around like a headless chicken. I was trying to put a square-shaped block into a let me just restart that. I was trying to put a square-shaped block into a circle-shaped slot. Unlike middle school, Edison has taught me that there are no dumb questions. The first step in the right direction for supporting my ADHD, executive functioning disorder, or processing disorder, began with my IEP teacher, Ms. Vance. That day, I learned a new word: accommodation. I wrote down my needs that would soon make school much easier. I went from having terrible computing abilities to understanding new materials. Many of my close friends know that I had a meltdown before accepting my enrollment into Edison. The friends that it took me 2 years to find, I now had to leave. I like these friends, so I was willing to put my learning on the line if it meant staying with them. I'm glad I stuck with it because I couldn't be happier with where I ended up. A part of me wishes I could go back to myself and say to trust the process. I would tell myself that I'm smart, kind, creative, funny, and more social than what I could have imagined thanks to Edison. I am organized, hardworking, and I'm not afraid to ask the same question multiple times because I have teachers that help me learn and care. Thanks to Jesuit, I found a love for swimming and have grown as an artist. Sometimes the hardest years are also the most fun. For example, the 7-hour bus ride with my junior class and the seniors down to Ashland for the Shakespeare Festival. I stand up here with a fast-beating heart and sweaty palms, but with the ability to voluntarily speak in front of many more people than what I'm comfortable with. My anxiety knows it too. Another struggle of mine is math. It's not my friend and it probably never will be, but the immense amount of progress I have made is shocking. When I suffered those 3 years of middle school, I had no clue what was going on and tests never went well. Freshman year, my miracle came. I had my first breakthrough thanks to a former Edison staff member, Miss Williams. It took 8 years to come to the conclusion that I'm not dumb or destined for failure, I just need support and other ways to learn. By now, you have heard the story of how I achieved academic success. I met some amazing people who I hope to know until I die and hit huge milestones that I will always be proud of. It certainly wasn't easy, but when I look back at those struggles, I remember that I got through it and I'm still breathing. As a chef from one of my favorite childhood movies called Ratatouille said, "There is excellence all around you. You need only be aware to stop and savor it." Chef Cousteau, thank you.
Hi. On first meeting Grace, you're embraced by her warm smile and generosity. But both of those go much deeper. Grace will offer you a lollipop, a listening ear, a friend to sit with, a sweet compliment, a well-timed joke, and her genuine giving spirit shines through. At her core, this sweetness blends with steel. Grace is tough. And not just because she can marathon scary movies and not flinch. She may make mastering a math problem, an essay, or a dance step look easy, but her perseverance, grit, and hard work are the core of her strength. I'm so proud to introduce Grace Pennifor.
Greetings, family, friends, and teachers. Thank you for coming. To start this off, thank you so much for all that you have done to get me here. I really do need the box. To get me here. Over the last 4 years have been amazing. I've gotten to know many of you here today. For that, I am forever thankful. My friends, look at where we have gotten and what we have gone through these years. We have had amazing adventures together, such as the trip to Twin Lakes and the adventures there, and the fun we had at the camp. Opal Creek and the hikes that we took, and when we hiked all to the camps. That will always be a memory that sticks with me. From my experience in Ashland, I have so much to say about Ashland, but so little time to tell you all about it. The night hike adventure to the park after we saw a play was so much fun, especially when we climbed the playground and played birdie on the perch. To my family and teachers, you have helped me get this far in my education. Without your confidence in me, I wouldn't be able to get this far. So thank you, parents, for helping me with my late night assignments and when I get distracted and start ranting about assignments or day-to-day things. Thank you, siblings, for putting up with me and all my questions about high school and what I should do for assignments. I'd like to thank my parents for enrolling me in Edison High School. It's been great. I would also like to thank my teachers for math, English, biology, and science, along with economics and geography, and my history teachers and advisors, as well as also my health teachers. You have helped me so much. I'm happy to announce I will be attending George Fox University next year to study interior design. I plan to keep it simple my first year, but still be adventurous. I also plan to travel around for a bit. I plan to live on campus the second year at college and have backups in case plans change. These years at Edison have shown me to always be prepared for change, and by going to new places and adventures to make with friends each year. Things can be unpredictable, but can always have a chance for a nice outcome. I know I've said this a lot already, but thank you truly. Without Edison High School, I don't know where I would be today. It has been great. I will miss Edison a lot, but don't think that this will be the last time you see me. I will come back to visit you all again, but for now, it's time to end this chapter of my life. Time to start a new chapter, and this time it will be named college. Thank you for listening to my speech. Thank you for attending, and with my final thing to say, congratulations to my peers. We made it now, and it's not long now before we start our new adventures.
Sometimes teachers have a student who spends as much time teaching as they do learning. Ari Riley is one of those. Here is a nowhere near exhaustive list of things Ari has taught me about in the last 4 years. Australian stick bugs, whale falls, that you can knit a pair of socks with 2 straight needles using something called the magic loop technique. Resilience in the face of really challenging situations. Having the courage to live your truth, even when that truth is very different from the one everyone around you is expecting. Ari, thank you for letting me attend your school for the last 4 years. Now come and teach these people something.
I'd really like to thank everyone today for attending this special ceremony for my classmates and I. As like most of my friends here, starting high school was rough. My first year felt like a massive struggle with no breaks in between. Home was hard, classes were hard, and everything just seemed pointless. I was terrified that I would fail my first year. No matter how hard I tried, it seemed like nothing in my classes made any sense. I hadn't learned a lot of prerequisites in middle school, and learning to use iPads and other technology was a whole other challenge. Kids were mean. I don't totally blame them. It was awful trying to make friends. I didn't get along with anyone, and I just wanted to leave the school. Things didn't improve much till the next year. I was a whole lot better at using the iPads, emailing people, learning to use all the apps. Not having much experience with electronics before high school was a huge hurdle for me. My teachers were the greatest help when it came to getting things to click. If it weren't for all the long days staying in school until the last teacher there had to kick me out, I wouldn't have learned as well as I did. I'd like to thank in particular Miss Manning and Miss Williams, as they are some of the most patient and caring people I have ever met. They have contributed greatly to my stability as a student and helped me become someone who wasn't always teetering on the edge of failure. They helped me get my grades up, get a better grasp on writing and the English language, and I believe it or not, actually enjoy math class. Yes, I know how crazy that sounds. Once I started to take off, there were no more obstacles that could stand in my way. I've made amazing friends. My academics are near constant improvement. I'm excited to go to school, and I finally feel like I have a bit of direction. Life feels so much more fulfilling, and I can't wait to hang out with friends and go on adventures this summer. Come fall, I will be pursuing my lifelong passion in science at Oregon State University, majoring in biology. I was always told that high school would be quite formative and impactful. I guess I didn't fully grasp that until now.
I first met Avery on the Opal Creek excursion his freshman year. He was quiet, curious, and so kind to everyone. I had the privilege of having Avery in physics the following year, where he thrived, soaking up knowledge and making class fun for both himself and others. He is the king of science memes. Avery is a hard worker, a great loyal friend to many. He deeply cares about those around him, and I cannot wait to hear about his next chapter at my alma mater, which he'll tell you about. I am so proud to introduce to you Avery Sokolblosser.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Avery Sokolblosser, and as many of my classmates have done previously, I'd like to share a lot of words about my Edison experience. I was used to being homeschooled, and coming to Edison really helped me grow out of that introvert that I had become over the past year and a half. Before even that, I had had issues with school because of my ADHD, which at the time was undiagnosed. Not that that matters in any way. It was the worst during elementary school because I had not learned to control the unlimited amount of energy I somehow possessed. At Edison, I had help, and I experienced many successes. Freshman year, under Miss Williams, I received Math Student of the Year after spending countless hours struggling. Sophomore year, I did it again. I got Math Student of the Year. Junior year, as many of you might have predicted, I tried again. But as all my peers know, geometry is hard. That year, thankfully, I started learning ASL, which turned out to be a magnificent addition to school and my life as a whole. And I ended up receiving ASL Student of the Year. This year, along with my best friend, Nick Burkett, I received Biology Student of the Year after chasing every possible explanation about everything I learned about. And my love for science has only grown. Oh man, I can't wait to pursue it in college. I really wish my scared 8th grade self could see me now. Over the years, I've developed some great relationships, not only with the staff, but my classmates as well. Nick, you've been my best friend for what feels like a lot longer than I'm sure it actually is. I'm really thankful for your friendship, and I hope we remain friends way past high school. I can't wait for even more years. Chris, you got a great kid. Melina, I want to thank you for your friendship since freshman year. I know we've had some hard times, but you've been a fantastic friend, and I will treasure our friendship for a very long time. Separate from my friends, of course, the teachers shouldn't be discredited for the work they do. Miss Manning, she really helped me freshman year as I was adjusting to school and getting me to do my work. As we all know, freshmen aren't that easy to get to do things. She's tough, but it was exactly what I needed at the time. I remember telling her that the next year when I didn't have her and I wanted her. Miss Williams, I don't know if you're here currently, but you helped me understand math and excel at it, which was amazing because previously I couldn't do algebra to save my life. Miss Longquist, you were the first person to light my science spark, and even to this day, I haven't stopped loving science, as was evident at the award ceremony this morning. Miss FR, I've always had a problem with English, and you added such a fun spin to learning it that I almost enjoyed it. Miss Weaponer, you really kept my science spark alive all these years. I really, absolutely, could learn any topic from you, and it might be the accent. I'm very thankful to learn and receive biology from you, aside from all the academic help I've received. Miss Lucas has really been my rock, not only emotionally, but helping me process every small hill I've come across in the past few years. Last but not least, among the thank yous, I want to thank my family, my mom, dad, stepmom. You've been very supportive of me all these years, and while I might not have appreciated it then, I do now. You're the best. In conclusion, I have no doubt that I wouldn't be here without the help and support of the teachers and faculty at this school. I also wouldn't be attending my dream college without them either. I remember freshman year wanting to go to OSU purely because it was orange, and my mom thought that was preposterous. So I worked really hard for the next 4 years, and I'm proud to say I'm attending OSU. Thank you.
My first impressions of Riley are a blur, mostly because he's always moving, both physically and mentally tracing threads of inquiry. Riley is always looking to learn, and the long conversations in 8th and after school to follow up on a thought he had in class or the book he's in the middle of will be missed. In his quest as a learner, Riley is also a teacher, frequently grabbing the marker and explaining his ideas visually on the board or teaching his way through a math problem, looking to make learning collaborative and bigger. Adventure is out there, and Riley is ready to make the most of it. I'm proud to introduce Riley Wass.
Well, firstly, thank you, Ms. Conley, for that lovely intro. Very nice. Now, welcome students, friends, family of the Edison community. I am truly glad to actually see all your lovely faces here today. I stand before you, a proud, confident, self-assured senior about to end this chapter in my life. High school has been a time of positives and a time of problems, learning and of challenges. I came to this school 4 years ago, unsure, scared, not sure where I was going or what I was going to do. Somewhere along the way, I grew into someone stronger, someone more real, and someone I am proud to be. Edison is a good school. In fact, it's even a great school. But what makes it a great school? It's not the mission statement, and it's not the accommodations. It's the people who come in this building each day and give this place heart and soul. So thank you to the teachers I've loved. Thank you for staying after class and explaining the homework or simply chatting about a shared love of audiobooks. So thank you. And to the teachers who I've argued and disagreed with, thank you as well. You've taught me how to not take things personally and to deal with individuals. And to both camps, I truly appreciate you and all the time you've spent working on me and myself when you really didn't need to, going above and beyond. Now, any thank you to the people would not be complete without a thank you to my parents. They're both very private people, and I promise to keep them short, or keep it short, but I just had to say how much I love them, so thank you. In a little over 3 months, I'm going to be getting on a plane and flying the 7,200 miles on a gap year. Now, why am I doing this? Well, high school college with its majors is terrifying to me. I don't know what I want to do or where I'm going to be in 10 years. So I'm taking a gap year, I'm giving myself room to breathe and discover who I truly want to be, and then I'm gonna go and rule the world. Thank you all.
Parker Westlick was a rowing coxswain in a former life, so this should tell you a little bit about her personality. She's a take charge, let's get this done, I am not kidding around kind of leader. She has a huge belly laugh and inexplicably falls apart over pictures of baby goats. She's a champion for the underdog and a warrior against injustice. There's a quote from Shakespeare that I think fits Parker perfectly. Though she be but little, she is fierce. Just ask anyone who has tried to point out she's out of dress code. Parker Westlick.
Hello and welcome to graduation. I want to thank everybody for getting me where I am today. There have been many people here who have been a huge part of my life and have helped me through my struggles. I have so many wonderful and close friends who mean the world to me, and my parents are out of this world. My mom was one who discovered Edison for me when I was in 4th grade, and I appreciate both of them so much. They are my biggest supporters, but I'll not be talking about them in this speech. But I love you guys a lot. I'll be attending the University of Arizona in Tucson next year, and will be majoring in mild to moderate disabilities and minoring in ASL interpretation. I will be pursuing to become an ABA therapist. But let's talk about Edison. Edison is somewhere where that makes you not feel stupid. It makes you feel really smart and appreciated, unlike my old K-8 school. I remember in 2nd grade getting diagnosed with ADHD and my other learning disabilities. I remember being so frustrated from 5th grade and up. I wasn't getting the help I needed. I felt so stupid in every class. I never felt appreciated. Then I came here for my first English class with Miss Manning. I asked her to repeat something. I was expecting for people to laugh at me and for her to say you should have been listening. But she repeated it, and she didn't make me feel dumb. I knew she was going to be my favorite teacher ever, and I was right. My freshman year wasn't too good, but if there's one distinct memory I had, it would be during finals. For my English final, we had to finish our final essay about mental health. Me being a procrastinator, I put it off until the day of the final. I told Miss Manning I didn't do it, and she first lectured me and said she was going to throw something heavy at me. Then she said there's Saturday school that weekend, and I went and we cranked it out. She spent over 4 hours doing it with me to help me finish it, and I think we went 2 hours extra, plus the 4 hours after Saturday school. I still don't think I deserved the Student of the Month she gave me because it was my fault for not staying on top of my work, but that didn't matter to her. It was the amount of work that I put in. I felt like I was on cloud 9. I had never felt so good about myself in that moment. Flash forward to this year, in my English class, we were doing a persuasive paper about a topic we picked. My topic was about first-degree murder and sentence lengths. I was already pretty behind on the paper, and I was really struggling. Of course, I left 3 paragraphs to do on the night before it was due. It was like 7 p.m., and I was getting nowhere with writing this paper. I decided to email Miss Manning, knowing that she was probably still grading papers and at her computer. And I was right. She told me that we could meet on Zoom at 8. I logged on, and the first thing she said was, "Did I not teach you anything?" We both laughed and then got to work. I ended up getting off that call at like 9:45. The funny thing is that I still didn't finish that paper on time, but I ended up getting more help from her during advisory in 8th. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do in college without her. She's basically my mom at school. I'll miss her so much. Thank you for everything. Edison has given me the confidence that I never had. They gave me the tools I needed to succeed inside and outside the classroom. From being told that I wouldn't graduate from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, being told I would never make it to high school, and for me to be standing here in front of all of you doing my graduation speech is something I never thought I would do. I can't even express the amount of thankfulness I have for every single staff member at the school and for my parents and friends for helping me through all my ups and downs. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those amazing speeches. Guess what time it is? It's time for the presentation of the diplomas. Mr. Keller will be coming up to the stage and running the ceremonies, and we will be greeting you all when you receive your diploma. Mr. Keller, take it away.
All right, I have a list of incredible names to read here from some wonderful, beautiful, talented, strong young folks. So whenever you're ready, Mr. Schwab, Mr. Wold, we'll go ahead and begin.
Let me add one thing. So I just want to add that handing out the actual diploma will be Ann Brayfield, one of our wonderful board members, former parent here at Edison. So welcome, Ann Brayfield.
Sequoia Barkman. Congrats, Sequoia. Pavlos Nectarios Blankenstein. Congrats, Pavlos. Drake Bowman. Congrats, Drake. Nicholas Rourke Burkett. Way to go, Nick. Olivia Ann Casey. Congrats, Olivia. James Robert Darby. Congrats, Jimmy. Evstathios Constantine Davis. Congrats, Stathi. Thomas Peter Demitz. Congrats, Thomas. Gabrielle Rose German. Nolan James Gustafson McLeod. Kyle Douglas Haslam. Hello, Kyle. Congrats, Kyle. Wiley T. Howell. Congrats, Wiley. Get it from old as well. Theodore Earl James IV. Ezra Sagner Lighthizer. Congrats, Ezra. Shalem Emet Lev. Brody Ian McCarthy. Nora Marie Yarmala Kircher-Meyer. Melina Sophia Olander. Grace Lily Rose Pettiflor. Ari E. Riley. Avery Merrill Sokol Blosser. Way to go, man. Riley Alexander Wass. And last but certainly not least, Parker Matisse O'Connell Westlake.
Wow. I have the fun part of presenting the class of 2021, and I could do it quickly, but I probably won't. I'll probably go off script. So I listened to all these speeches, and I cry like I usually do, and I kept hearing like people describing the friendships they made and how they're going to last. And I really appreciate that and understand that with this group. They are very close. They've been through a lot. And I'm going to do a corny sports thing because I'm a sports fan. And I was looking at the scoreboard. Obviously, it says 2021 for the class of 2021. And there's no time on the clock. So the game is over. But this was your last game as a team. There's plenty more games to be played. But you guys will always be teammates for the rest of your life. And that's something cool to think about. In 20 years, you'll come back and you'll remember this ceremony. And you'll say, you remember that stupid sports thing Mr. Wold said? But that would mean you remembered it. So let's stand up. Seniors, let's stand up. Your tassels are on the right now. And I'm going to now ask you to move them to the left. Moving them to the left signifies that they're ready to leave high school and move on to the next step. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021. tiger hat.
Thank you again, everybody. A reception following over in Hayes Plaza. So just kind of either go through the night gym or the night lobby and take a right and bump into it. Yeah, you can start wandering over there. So, or head up the hill here and you'll find it. But Hayes Plaza over in Jesuit.